Hello everyone, it's another day with me, Dr. Shah Siddiqui from GenZ Marketing. We have a very special guest today, and the introduction I will give, it will not fulfill what she does. She's an excellent entrepreneur, business builder, and she's working for the community. So you can name it like 10 or 15 or 20 individual things that she's capable of. And I'm so glad that we had today our special guest, and I will introduce you in a minute. Before that, I just wanted to thank you all for joining this webinar, supporting us, and as well as please be safe. And if you are watching it from home or driving, please be safe and take care of yourself. So we will have our special guest today, and you probably know her previously, but she's coming now. Hello, Beverley. Welcome to GenZ Marketing.
Hello, Dr. Shah.
I did not give a vast introduction to you because I think it's better people know from you. So if you could introduce our audience, who you are, what you do, and we go from there.
Okay. Well, first of all, just to say thank you very much for inviting me onto your live. And I gave some thought actually to what I do. So, and where that's actually started from. So I've got quite a unique background in terms of business and education, with the education bit squashed in between the two bits like a sandwich. And I came back into business in 2017 and kicked it off in 18. So the first part of that was very much sort of going out networking quite a lot, which sort of gave me that it gave me that reputation really of a networker and a connector, which is sort of what's carried on really. So Beverley Poole Consultancy started off in 2018. And then, as my followers will know, I set up Aspire for Business Academy, events and retreats in 2019, just before we went into lockdown. So the upshot of that was that I had to rejig my whole business for the 2 years that we were into lockdown, helping people to get online. So my business is now twofold, Dr. Shah and our listeners. We've got Beverley Poole Consultancy, which is very much about mentoring businesses in a business builder fashion. So if I go to networking now and people say, what do you do? I usually turn that on its head by saying something along the lines of, when was the last time you carried out a 30 tactical strategic question SWOT analysis of your business? And they say, I've never done it. So usually a strategy day is how I start what I do, which is underpinning things to help companies to grow. And then Academy, of course, is there to host online developing companies, whether it's to do with their onboarding programs for employees, whether it's to do with training courses, subscription-based models. They all fit into that category. So primarily, I'm a business mentor. And then secondly, just about to reshape the Academy to take on board digital futures, which is what we're all doing. Hope that covers it.
That's great. Thank you for your introduction. And we will talk more in rest of the session. And I thank you all our audience for you to join in. We have lots of audience today to watch our programs, and I think they wanted to know more about PR. They wanted to know more about business development. So, as an introductory question, I wanted to ask you, as you're working for a long time for PR, why PR is crucial for business?
Okay. So originally, when I worked in the city in London, back along in the day, before I did my 10 years in education, I watched how PR really developed into a business development tool. And it's a strategy, Dr. Shah. It's very much runs alongside marketing and also your sales. So it all sort of fits together. So what PR is its own strategy of thought leadership for you in your business. So when people start up a business, they've usually got this fabulous idea. And it turns into a business, so they need different skills, which is where Business Builder came from. But PR is about what you know. So if anybody's, is setting up an IT company, it might be that they have got a lot of experience in the IT industry. And to get your thought leadership out there are so many different avenues for you to do that, but it supports very much underneath your marketing program. So it's crucial, it's strategic, it fits underneath your marketing program. And what we'll do is, from the questions that we discussed earlier, is to sort of break that down for people a little bit as we go along. So it's a strategy for your thought leadership and to explain to people what you know rather than just sell it, basically.
Thank you, Beverley. It was great to know why it is crucial for any businesses, because as a technology company as well as marketing company, we understand that PR is your backbone. You might have the right skill set as a business, maybe working for charity, maybe you're working for technology, maybe working for any other domains, but people will not know you until you start your PR, until you start your marketing, because that's the way that you can sell. So to our viewers, thank you very much for your time and join our session today. We have Beverley Poole Business Builder with us to support you and answer your questions. So please feel free to ask us anything that you wanted to know through the comment box, and we will answer that throughout the program. So today we are here to understand PR for business development. I am Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and I have Beverley Poole Business Builder with me from GenZ Marketing, and we will continue to work throughout our program. And if you have any question, please feel free to support and through the comment box. So my next questions, why do SMEs need to embed PR culture for their growth? What is the importance of that?
Okay, so it's to create compelling relationships and compelling stories outside of your marketing program, if you like. So in your marketing program, and the example that I usually give is, if you've got quarterly marketing, so that you don't sell woolly hats in the summer, what you need to be doing is to targeting and focusing your marketing program over the course of a year. Now, underneath that, what you can do is to look at TV, radio, newspapers, magazines, with a compelling story about your business. So in all magazines, whoever you look at, whether it's the Woman's Realm, or whether it's Psychology's magazine, or IT Today, or Data Intelligence, whatever it is, all of those magazines will have what's called a features list. And they will have that ready, just like we do with our own programs and our own marketing program, with topics each month. Now, if you can align a topic that you're covering in your marketing program, a strategy, you can also send a case study, some information about your business. I'm not talking about a sales target or a sales piece of work. This is your thought leadership again. So if you pull together, it could be a case study about what you've done, but if you hit the magazine at the right time, the editors, in a way that they're going to take notes for that particular, like the month or the month after, a compelling story about your business that supports their own program, then they may very well use your article in their magazine. So if in March, let's say they're covering peak caps for summer, What we would do is we would make sure that we get our article about maybe fabrics, about sustainability, about the new look for this year into the magazine before they go into that feature of that particular month. So again, like we said at the start, it's all about that thought leadership. So having taken companies right from when I was the director of a PLC subsidiary in London in the day, right through to now, I can see the benefits of that, so that people get to know you differently than your everyday business, or your push marketing, or your pull marketing, or whatever it is that you're doing to create a database for you to acknowledge your business as a sales business. But with things like features lists in magazines, or articles that you can write, columns that you can be involved with, your newsletter each month, all of those things can create this amazing space for you to talk about your business and your thoughts, leadership, your connections with industry, etc., etc. So it's very much geared towards compelling stories, whether it's about your business or a case study about a client. And of course, what magazines and newspapers sometimes do is they don't use the whole thing that you sent to them, but you can guarantee sometime when they're a bit short of news, they'll be flicking through, oh, you know, I'm sure I saw something come through my emails the other day about this. And somebody may actually give you a call and say, which has happened to me a few times, could you just give us a quote for this particular article that we're running, which is fantastic. And that's the stage that you want to get to, is your thought leadership being seen by media, whether it's TV, the radio, the newspapers, the magazines specialist to your industry or aligned, that will want to know a little bit more about your business, basically, and your comments or your case studies that you've maybe worked with. So it's all about telling compelling stories, Dr. Shah.
Thank you, Beverley. I think our audience understood why it is important for SMEs to be peer-centric. So one thing that I most of the time I come back to me when we talk to the businesses that okay, marketing is your backbone, and you also need to embed PR culture to your company. Sometimes they talk about okay, they don't have the skill sets to do that, and they're afraid how it will turn up, and do they have the capacity. Different things, you know that when we build businesses, they have individual requirements and individual fear of different things. So how do we overcome our fear to become and embed PR culture if they don't have any capacity, and if still they wanted to have embed PR to their company?
Okay, so I'm thinking about somebody that I've been doing some work with recently, actually, and I added to their employee handbook about PR and also embedding thought leadership as part of their social media strategy as well. And of course, we have so many tools now that we can use to create content. What I am seeing a lot of, which I don't think is a great idea, just to send it flying out into the media, is straight off ChatGPT, because it's got a style. I think people can recognize it now. But if you write something yourself about your knowledge or your products or your services in a sort of in a way that it sort of relates to your clients or into an industry, and then pop it into ChatGPT, then it comes out with some more, you know, sort of words that are a little bit more expressive maybe, but it's still your content. It's just added to it. So a culture is about what we're actually saying, isn't it? You know, it's a way of behavior. When we go on holiday, don't we? We say, I loved the culture, you know, I loved the food, I loved the clothes. All of those things are your brand in your business. So the food, the clothes, the smells, the ethos, the whole thing is all the same as your branding in your business. And to get that in, as a cultural item into PR, which of course is a long burn. It's not something that's going to get you business overnight, but it will get you recognized. It will get your culture recognized. You know, people might want to then come and work with you as a trusted or a preferred employer. So there's lots of reasons that we want to get our culture into our PR, and out into the media, and into the marketplace. Does that answer your question?
Yes, that is. And as we're talking about it, I have understanding of peer and working with peer agencies, and as well as working with you. It gave us, I think, versatile look and versatile thinking when we do peer. And sometimes people think that, okay, peer is just the director or the CEO or the founder, but peer is all about your employee. Peer is all about who is working with you, how you are
Yeah.
working, and how you are impacting to the community. So,
Yeah.
can you tell us a bit more about this? Because it's not about ourselves, is it? It's about our culture, our community, our employee, and
Yeah.
our product and services. How
Yeah.
if I wanted to, if someone wants to run a PR campaign, what they can think of?
Right. Okay. So any PR campaign needs to be relevant to or underpin what it is you're doing in your marketing, or relevant to the areas of a couple of you've just said there, going to the client that I was just referring to, is that you can also look at telling the media about your new employees, for example. So if you've just made a new hire, or you've got a talent program in place and you've just promoted somebody, you can actually tell the media about that. You can tell them that somebody has been promoted, they've been with your business for 10 years, you know, this is the skills that they've learned, what they bring to the business, etc., as part of your marketing strategy. But your PR strategy is something a little bit different. It's what you're talking about. It's your culture, the sort of the information that you're giving about your business, and any sort of changes in legislation, anything to do with changes in governance, changes in directors, anything like that at all. Or, of course, if you become a B Corp company, you might want to tell the media about that, or you might want to tell the media about the fact that you're building up ESG programs using UN Sustainability Development Goals, those sorts of things. So there's a whole bunch of things that you can do from your business in a cultural type way to show your growth, your understanding, what industry needs, you know, the whole gearing up towards net zero 2050, etc. So there's a range of programs that you can run that will facilitate PR as a strategy, but you've got to sit on it all the time, and that isn't marketing, that's something else, you know. That's having that strategy where it's planned out well, you know what's going to happen, you know when your hires are coming in, you tell the story about your team, you talk about new legislation, new products, etc. And if you've got let's say like an electrical company, you know, what training are they actually, what training do they need, what training might they want to offer, and that might then encourage other people to actually come to you and ask your advice. So PR is the long burn, but PR is part of your business development strategy. So PR, marketing, sales, funnel, you know, that type of thing. And then of course you've got customer relations, you've got testimonials. So this is quite key as well, is when people say, oh, could you give me a testimonial? And you send it out to 20 people and you get 2 back, you go, oh, I'm really disappointed. So the best way to do that indeed is to send out a Google form so that you can ask 5 questions. So what product did you use? What was the service like? How is our pricing? Etc. So if you've got 5 questions times 20, you know, it's like 150 bits of work that you could actually put in your PR or in your articles or in your newsletters. So even if it was about pricing, I found your pricing best in the market. That one line alone is so handy, you know, in terms of PR. You can put it in the middle of a newsletter. You can put it on a product launch. So you asked me about launch. It's all about organization and having everything aligned so that it works, and so that you're getting your thought leadership, culture, your comments, case studies, testimonials, all out all of the time, but without bombarding the market. But you want to be up there with them.
Thank you, Beverly. I think our viewer have now understood what is peer and how they can do peer. It's not all about you. It's as I said, it's all about your culture, your community, your business, your customer, and peer can support you with a lot of different ways and different angles. And I wanted to let our audience know, if you wanted to ask us any question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. And we are from GenZ Marketing, and we are today having lovely Beverley Poole with us, and you will have very many other things that we will talk about and in rest of the sessions. So here we are here discussing peer. And we have Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui. You are watching our GenZ webinar. And please stay tuned and support us throughout our program. And if you wanted to contact Beverley directly, she's with Facebook as well as all other social media. You can also connect her through our LinkedIn DM. So feel free to contact her if you want any sort of understanding related to peer. She's the right person to support you and guide you through, because she has tons of work experience, and she's been working for many years. So here we today, Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui. We are today talking about peer. In relation to peer, how long have you been supporting businesses?
I think you just said many years, which is probably quite true. So as well as having five of my own businesses, four of which I have sold in the past, and I think that what I actually wanted to say was about communication, really. And I've been supporting businesses now for a really long time. And I tell you what, I was actually talking to somebody that worked for the BBC International Service a while back. He lives in Salisbury. And as part of that conversation, we were talking about having to do things sometimes off the hoof. So if something amazing has happened, we're always very keen to go, oh, I need to tell the world on my social media. But in actual fact, if you just hang on to it and, go, oh, just hold on to it for a little while, you can actually have that as part of your communication program, So I've been helping companies now since that, let's just say the late 80s. And I've worked with companies like Blue Circle, Motorola, Cellnet before it turned into O2, BT, P&O, Chrysalis Group, a whole bunch of companies that are household name companies. And I actually helped to set up one of the first interactive technology companies in the UK, which had these massive, great big video discs, which were interactive discs for Jaguar cars, the British Museum, all to do with training and point of information and things like that. So it was a very exciting time at the start of the technology age. And I'm very privileged to have been part of that, because I can now carry that forward. I understand it. I understand the roots of it. And this is the same as communication. So even when I went into education, it was the same. It was all about communicating correctly to get the right outcome at the other end. So whether it was business, education, or back into business, it shapes perception. Your communication, whatever you're putting out, will shape perception. So we were calling it culture just now. I'm going to talk just a little bit about shaping perception and because of the outlets that we're actually looking at. So if you're communicating internally, that's still PR in your company. So if you've got employees I had 25 direct staff at one point, and quite a lot of external staff as well.
Mhm.
And it was very important to keep that that knowledge or that communication, that PR, in focus of what it was that you were trying to get across. So if you say too much, people get too involved. So it's applying the right amount of information to the right people to get the right communication out. So whether it's with staff, you know, what do we need to tell these people? People hate it, don't they, when you've got like Chinese whispers going on in a company. They like to know what's going on. So we need to let them know. And I've said this a million times. We don't live in a society anymore when we ask staff about their satisfaction. Are you satisfied with? You know, we've changed that round now to be needs. What are your needs? Let's do a needs analysis, because we work in an environment where we've got 6 gens and then the alphas are coming right through. You know, they'll be here before we know it, and we need this communication thread for all of the different age groups that we've got. So older individuals, of which there are 6 million 55-year-olds out of work, you know, they need to be communicated to as well about what's going on in industry, so that, you know, when the time comes for them to get their next job, they know what's going on. You know, they need to be kept informed. The next generation down love, obviously, their streaming. You know, they like to scroll a lot. There's been a massive increase in things like reels and shorts and all of those things that we read about all the time. TikTok is becoming the new Google. So we need to make sure that our communication is hitting the right spot and the right people. And I would say in that you need to understand your client very well. So whether you're writing to the newspaper, putting up a reel, sending out an article, writing a newsletter, who is that for? Who are you communicating that to? And what are you saying to people that they can then, you know, sort of hook onto and pay more attention? So the long burn, which is what I've just talked about, is when people start to pay attention and then they start to want to read more of your work and they don't unsubscribe. You know, if it's a newsletter, then it's really great if you've got your communication right. So that, whether it's internally or it's going externally, I think that the communication is key, and understanding who your market is and your end user and who this piece of writing is for. Does that answer the question?
Yes, I think have now gained enough knowledge on PR, and we will continue our conversation. I think we are having some technical sound problem today, but if it's from my end, we do excuse for that, but we will continue to talk about PR. And we are here today, Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, for you to understand PR and the importance of PR of your business culture, specifically when we work with SMEs. And you know, SMEs are the core of any of the UK, because I cannot have the right number of SMEs at the UK, because there are many SMEs, and every now and then you will see some SMEs, they just go bust, and we don't want to do that. If you have a right culture and as well as right marketing and business development, you will flourish. And here we are here to support you, Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui. You are watching today GenZ Marketing PR, and is important to the business culture. So next question I wanted to ask you, you probably work with tons of businesses. So is it possible for you to lay out some bricks that, okay, a typical example of how you work with individual businesses to support their peer with a case study?
Okay, so the thing is with SMEs is 63% of businesses went out of business last year. SMEs, small businesses, startups, Why is that happening? You know, we have this massive business support programs going on, and why is it that this is failing so badly? You know, and when I talk to companies, and they're usually about a year or two old, they are expecting to be turning over a fortune. You know, they are expecting to be making it. And what you find a lot of the time, Dr. Shah, is it takes a year to find out actually what you do. And it takes 2 years to put that in order. And somebody said to me the other day about, what should I put on my banners? And I went, whatever you put on now, you'll change in a year. So, you know, because when your offer becomes defined is usually when things start to move forward. It's working with SMEs is about having the right financial controls in place. And that's not about how much I am going to make. That's about how much is it going to cost you to run your business. And you need to reverse engineer that to get the best outcome in the first year. So whether you're bootstrapping with your own money, which is how I've done business for quite a number of years, whether you get funding through applications, whether you get bank funding, whether you are supported by a partner, whatever it is, you know, you need to make sure that you've got those financial things in place to start with. So if we're talking about SME development, is that what you want me to talk about? Is how I support SMEs when they get to that stage? Because it's usually about year 3 that they're flapping around in the long grass going, help, it's not happening. And which is when I usually come up with a strategy day. And simply by, you know yourself, if you ask yourself the same question 10 times a day, you get the same answer. If you don't have a trusted tribe of people, whether that's your best friend, your next door neighbor, somebody that can give you an honest response, you need those people in place to get that information. If you are struggling or challenged with any aspect of business skills, you know, and you're not actually implementing that correctly into your business, you need to seek advice. So when I have reached out to companies and said, can I help? Sometimes I can see where things are going wrong, just simply by how they're performing in their media, marketing, their PR, or what they're not doing. And some of these people belong to really tight networking groups, which is great, but why aren't they getting the support they need there? Why aren't they seeking out that business support? So one particular business that I reached out to a couple of years ago, I think I've mentioned this story to you before, and he said, that's it, I'm done, put it all over social media. And I said, what on earth are you doing? You've got the fantastic product. And I said, I said I would help you. And he said, well, I didn't think I could afford you. And I said, I didn't ask for money, you know, because if I've got something that I can help, I'm not saying that I do everything for nothing, but if I can see a small gap or a small way that I can help a company to turn it round, but people panic. And I think the panic usually comes from issues to do with finances, Dr. Shah. So that's the underpinning thing, isn't it? You know, you can't grow flowers without roots. As soon as you cut it off, that's it, the flower dies. So you've got to have those solid, strong roots in the ground. And that's your business planning and your strategy, your finances. It's a solid rock. And for those that know me, they know I've studied psychology. So if you look at the way that you structure a business, and we use Maslow's hierarchy of need, you've got to have your water, your food, and everything at the bottom that gives you that support so that you can grow up to that realization. So what you get a lot of times is people who, I think Gordon Ramsay was one of these people. He had a really flash car, and his dad, he said to his dad, oh, my business is going down and I need money. And his dad said, I'll give you some money if you sell your car. And, you know, so, and because, you know, we can all live our Maslow on its point, but it will fall over eventually, won't it? You know what?
Yeah.
So you've got to turn it up the right way so it works. So when I worked in London in the city, I saw a lot of that, a lot of people setting up businesses where they were trying to do all the fabulous things first, without getting all the basics in place. We didn't have all the business support that we have now at that point. But we now have the opportunity with our SMEs to help them to structure so that they can do that. So without going into names of clients, I can think of 3 or 4 companies that I've helped in the last 2 or 3 years, which had just those things. So the case studies of making sure that their business plan was solid. They understood the mission of the business, now, medium term and long, how they were going to finance that business, who their trusty tribe were that they could go to in an emergency to ask for help. Don't mean financial help. I mean just running an idea by them. Getting yourself a coach or somebody like me, like a mentor, because I use 3 mentors. I've got somebody that looks after my mental health, somebody that looks after my physical health, and somebody that looks after my business health. And that's all to do with how you perform. You've got to be in a really good place in your head. I think I did a post this week saying stop saying the same story, because if you keep telling yourself the same story, it will never change. You need somebody to change the story for you. So the way that I look at things as a mentor is to scaffold things while people lean on me like scaffolding so that they can try it out. So I'm a trusty tribe. What do you think of this, Bev? What do you think of that, Bev? Just like your children do, well, can you help me with that? Can you help me with that? So it's supporting, isn't it? It's a supportive role. All sports people have coaches. Anybody who is in, football league, Premier League, football, they all have those people, the sports, the physio, everything else. And your business is the same. It needs that structure. So those SME companies that you're asking me about, I wouldn't divulge obviously who they were, but it's important that I say, and they'll know who they are if they ever listen to this, is that once we got that structure in place of roots in the ground, knowing what we're doing, looking at the pricing, reverse engineering the income. So if I said to you right now, how much cash have you got in your business? You should know that. I know how much cash is in my business because I ask Chrissy every week. And so that I know what's coming next. It's that planning. So it's like your PR, your marketing, your money, your story, your Maslow, your whatever it is. You've got to have that in a solid format so that you can grow from there. And the word that I'm using a lot here is strategy. And that's very much what I do. Is to strategize. Without it, you can't plan, because you don't know what it is you want to do.
Yeah, I hear quite often from business leaders. They are doing business, and when we are talking to them, and they mostly some of them will say, "I wanted to earn what I'm doing now, and then I will pay this, this." And this is a common mentality. And as you said that you need a mentor, I also have a mentor, because I do mentor businesses, but I have some special needs. I have something on my headroom and a lot of things. I need to go to someone to spell it out or to get some ideas, because that's the way it should be. So we were talking in a group last week, and we were talking the same thing, that I will help us, and when I start earning, then I will start paying you. And that point, I think they don't really need help, because will they work without payment? Will they work without money? They will not. So those people, they are thinking that they will give you money when you earn for them. Without any contribution, they will not stay. They will just go away, and they will never survive and sustain. So thank you, Beverley, for your time. We are heading to the last segment of our program, and I thank you to our audience. We have a lot of audience listening and watching our podcast on LinkedIn. And if you wanted to ask any question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box. And we are here today to discuss about fear and how it will transform your business differently. And we have Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui, and we will talk another half an hour or 20 minutes so on to discuss about peer and peer related activities. So we are here on LinkedIn, and you are watching our live webinar. So in the next segments, I wanted to ask you, you have many talents, and on those talents, what is your biggest strength? And you can okay, this is my niche and this is my biggest strength for you to, or for me to support you. Can you give us some examples?
I do have to say here, actually, I always say to everybody, please don't ask for my help if you don't want to listen, because, and there's no point hiring me at X amount of money a day and not listening to the message, so the best way to do that is to do the whole strategy thing first. So I would say that is my key strength, is I understand how business should be structured, and I can put together a strategy based on SWOT analysis and a 30-question strategy day that I can pull together. But I have been likened before, Dr. Shah, as a scrum half or a Rottweiler. But hopefully people will, sort of get that message, is that I absolutely care about people's businesses. And I've said this a million times. At this point in my career, and everybody knows what I can do, they see it on social media, they see the successes, they see those things. I have got nothing to prove and everything to share. And if you want to share my knowledge, it's going to cost you money. And what I always say is, people that pay attention. If you want something for nothing, you won't do it, because you're not invested in it. You're not going to do it. You haven't got anything of yourself. So it's to get that buy-in, isn't it? Which is like PR. You get people's buy-in to your company and buy into your culture and buy into your thought leadership. They're actually invested in what you're saying, and they value your opinion because they ask you. So if people ask my opinion, please sit down, because I'm going to tell you it straight. And if I don't tell you it straight, then we can't actually make a program that's going to help you to move it forward. So, the experience that I've got is very valuable to companies. The experience that I can bring into companies to help them to change and to grow, whether it's through their business structure, governance, skills development, talent process, bringing in sustainability now that we live in an era where we have to pay attention. All of those things are what I bring to business. And over the last 5 years and through lockdown, I think that's proven itself over and over again, is that people come and ask your opinion. And when people ask my opinion and then use that information, they haven't got the backup from it to actually to implement it. So it's a bit like going to a workshop, but not having the information. Having the information is great, but it's how you implement it. So it's the how. So I show people how to do the how, basically. They know their why they're doing it, and I'll show you how to do the how. And that how will include communication. And it's that communication of information, of business, of structure, of strategy, of skills, which I understand. I understand the education system, and how you can move yourself forward using that strategy. And the last strategy day I did was with a building company, and they said by coffee time, they realized they were in the right room, and that wasn't because of me, that was because of the answers that they were coming up with. I was just asking them the questions. and they were putting in all the information. But sometimes it just takes another person to sit down with you to create that structure of change as well. The thought leadership is what I pull out of that. So what you're saying is, so what you've suggested is, would you like to try that? How do you think that might work if we do that? What else do you need to make that work? And it's rather like you say to your children, isn't it? When they say, oh, grumble, grumble, you go, what do you want to happen? Give them a choice. And so it's the same with business, is what do you want to happen? And when you go, I just want this to happen, or I need that to happen, then you can put those things in place to create that traction to enable that to work.
I understand, Beverley. When we work with businesses, we always ask them if they have a strategy in place, because as you said earlier, you need a business plan, now short-term and long-term views, because you are the innovator, or you are the person looking after your company. So if you don't have any vision, if you don't have anything, you cannot grow, and we cannot help you to grow, because we can aid you with strategy, we can support you with individual tactics, but if you are not capable enough to grow it, you have to bring someone within your company that they see a vision and they can support you to grow. And it's all about supporting each other, isn't it? And you've been working long time now in the community and within the community and supporting individual businesses. And another point from your conversation, that some people, they think that a peer company or people like you or me are very expensive, and if they wanted to hire us, but they never talk to us. Like, I know that you do free strategic session, isn't it? And you support with individuals a particular time. Okay, if you wanted to know your business, please come and talk to us, because it will not cost you any penny for the fast settings, because it's totally free. So to our viewers, I wanted to remind you, if you wanted to have a session with Beverley, please feel free to contact her through her social media or LinkedIn, and she will offer you a free strategic session. And you will know, because she has understanding of business development, she has understanding of peer, she has understanding of a lot of different things, and as well as she is part of a business incubation and a business community, so she can help you to get someone if you cannot do it yourself, because she got connections, she got relations, and that's the core value of Beverley. So we are here today, GenZ Marketing, and supporting you with Pia. We will have more session with Beverley in a next couple of months' time, and we will talk about more into business development, Pia, data-driven technology, USG, which is very important nowadays, because sustainable goals is core for any business to grow locally, nationally, and globally, and we can support you with that. So we are talking about PR today, and we have Beverley with us. And please feel free to ask your question through the comment box, and we will continue to talk PR, communication, and business growth to rest of our session. So we are nearly end. We just got 10, 12 minutes to our session. And at this point, do you wanted to give a message to our audience that if maybe they are not ready, because you do not support businesses until they're year 3, why you don't support them before they are a certain maturity, and why it is important to get that maturity and get you on board?
Right, okay. So first of all, I do have a startup community. And you've just made the point there about having a business plan. So I always liken that as, if you went to IKEA and bought a great big cupboard and there wasn't any instructions in there, you would spend ages and ages trying to put that cupboard together. If you've got the bag of tools and the bag of nuts and bolts and the instructions, it's so much easier to do that. And that's that strategy, that's that business plan that will give you that movement forward. And then the other thing that you've just mentioned is about your USP as well, and your you can have a unique sales point, but you also need a competitive advantage. So if you're I've used this, I think, example before online, but if you are a dog walker and you say, well, I come and take your dog out for a walk, I feed your dog, I give it a brush, love it to death, etc., etc. And my unique sales point is that I measure how much food your dog is having, and I write it in a book for you every time I come and take your dog back. So your competitive advantage of being that dog walker is that once a month you sit down with the family and say, is there anything else we can offer? Is there anything else I can help you with? Have you got any holidays coming up? So what you're doing is you're playing forward your PR, if you like, or your business development in your competitive advantage. Now, next week at Boardroom Business, we have somebody coming along to talk who will actually be looking at how you can develop your clients using the information that that you've got and the programs that you've been working with. But I think at the end of the day, the comment here is working with companies year 3 is usually when they approach me, because that's when they say, I need some help now. I've got this structure in place. I employ 5 people. I don't know what to do next. And that to take off that to that next level, if you like, requires some structure and governance and procedures and policies and all of those things, employee handbooks, onboarding programs, getting your IT to talk to each other because you've got a CRM or a finance system or something else, that needs to be coordinated. So to grow a business and to develop, the structure of it, it needs to have all of those things in place. So that's usually why I come in year 3. I love nothing more, Dr. Shah, than coming into a business that's 25 to 30 people, end-to-end processes, and having a look at how they can be better or how they can be improved or what you can add to them to make that company fly. And you know what? It's usually their marketing and PR needs a little bit of a tweak, development, or they haven't got it at all. So then we look at how we can put that in place. What I'm finding as well a lot of at the moment is, and this is sort of something that's come out of International Women's Day today, I've been reading online. I haven't actually been in the office today. I've been running errands for a private school, for some international students, is that at the top of a lot of companies, you've got directors that have been there a while. And we need to now educate the directors at the top of the tree. And if we know anybody wants to talk about that, they're saying, how does AI actually work? Or what does it actually do for my business? Or who can I actually get to help me to do this? So they filter it down. So we need to talk to the boardroom, we need to talk to those people about those processes so that they can then look at how they can develop the business moving forward. So if you look at the FTSE 100, even from when it first started, how many of those companies are still in place? I was talking to somebody about this the other day, probably 2 or 3. And we have come through the technology age since then. We've come through this whole development age in business. And a lot of that's to do with resilience, great financial backing, angel investment, underpinned, etc., etc. But the key thing is we have to educate the boardroom now, because things are changing. And if they've been in that role for 6 or 7 years, we need to be talking to senior directors. I love nothing more than that conversation, because they sort of take away so much from it. And then having their senior managers in the same room at the same time gives us that opportunity to look at the strategy. So what is the next stage for that? How are you going to do that? And then you can build that, which is the conversation we're having here, into your PR. And we can look and we can take it out on a launch over a 6 or 3 month program to say, look at what this company is now doing. And people go, "Ooh, didn't hear about that." And the comment I always make about launch programs, and we're on one ourselves at the moment, aren't we, Dr. Shah?
Yeah.
But we won't tell anybody about that at this stage, because you don't win. What is it? You don't win a Formula One race in the sunshine having a lovely time. You win a Formula One race in the rain with the right tyres and a strategy.
Yes.
So if you want to take some market share, you have to take market by surprise. It doesn't just happen overnight. So and that's all to do with your PR and just blapping it out there. So SMEs, 10 years old, directors that have been in their roles for that long, that's a great place to talk strategy and to help them to grow. But startups, I absolutely love. I can make a massive difference to businesses if I can help them at that stage. And then, as I've got here, the step up bit is great. And then eventually, when they come to sell, if that's the route that they want to take out, or stay in as a non-exec director or whatever, is the achievement. It's the icing on their cake, isn't it? Yeah, all very exciting in SME world.
Yeah, thank you, Beverley. And to our viewers, I think we can see your banner, but it is upside, it is altered, so we cannot read your banner, Beverley. Maybe probably next time you need to fix it.
Reverse the camera.
Yes. Otherwise, we cannot see it. But we have a nice session today. We have many online our connections to listen and watch your this program, and I'm thankful to you and all our viewers whoever joined today. If you wanted to ask any question, please feel free to ask us through the comment box, and we will continue to talk. And we just have a little bit of time left, and we will utilize that time thoughtfully. I just wanted to discuss one thing, because I can see, because we're working together in some of the occasions and some of the projects. We spotted, and I personally spotted, if you have business partners and one is knowledgeable, another one is not that much knowledgeable, and that person to change it to peer is very difficult, because how we deal with those situations, or do you have any suggestion for the co-founder and founder? They are dealing with this, that okay, some people, they don't understand it, they don't feel that it is necessarily needed, but other person, they said okay, it is needed. What is your suggestion on that?
Yeah, it is. It's a tough one, actually, because people go, yeah, well, we don't need it, or it's going to cost us money, usually. But if you can show how it actually integrates into the business and how other people have used that, so you can go on to any of the onto Google and go, give me 10 companies that have worked well with PR. You can ask ChatGPT the same. And you've got companies like Amazon, example, who have done well from PR, etc., etc. I know they're going through a bit of a rocky patch at the minute, but there are loads of examples of how PR has supported business, and you can't do business without all of the elements. It's like trying to make a cake with no eggs, or trying to have a roast dinner without any really yummy gravy on the top of it. It's just part of it. So you've got your marketing quarterly, you've got your PR structure that fits underneath that, and how you're going to actually get your thought leadership out. Your newsletters, you can hit people who run TV stations, radio stations, get yourself out there. And what you're actually doing is like we are today, really, is just talking about our skills. There isn't one whole answer for everybody, because every industry is different. But I can usually say that give it a go. That's what I usually say. Give me 3 months with this marketing and PR. Let's show you what we can do. And my enthusiasm comes through, and I know it works. Getting people's knowledge into articles is, I just love nothing more, because they go, wow, did I say that? And I go, yeah, you did, and if we get it then published, or write it on a flip mag, or, you know, we've got a friend of ours who has a tea company down in Portsmouth, and I thought, you know, if you had a flip mag on your website which talks about all the different teas, the history of them, where they come from, because he does fantastic blogs, and get that as a, you know, so that people can read it. There's so many ways that you can get your information out there onto the superhighway.
Thank you, Beverly. We are nearly in the conversation. We just have a couple of minutes left. Maybe we will run over 2 minutes. So, to our viewers, you are listening and watching our webinar today. Here we have Beverley Poole Business Builder, and I'm Dr. Shah Siddiqui. We're going to be ending this session very soon. And I just wanted to add the last bit. Do you have to say your last remark for our audience and how they contact you if they wanted a free strategy session? If you could add that.
Yep. So if anybody wants to contact me, they can contact me at beverleypoole@live.co.uk. That is my personal email address. And it's Beverley with an EY, because everybody usually misses it off and says because it's not usually how it's spelt. So it's Beverley with an EY, Poole, Poole, at live.co.uk. If you want to contact me through my website, you can do that at hello@aspire.forbusiness.com, and there's a contact page obviously there to do so too. If you want to contact me through LinkedIn, you can send me a direct message, and I will be very, very happy to jump on a call with people to talk to them about their business needs.
Thank you, Beverly. We have a nice session today. And thank you very much for your time. And we will continue to build our relation through peer and supporting local, national, and global businesses. And to our viewers, I thank you especially for your time, spending 1 hour with us and listening to us, watching our podcast. We may have some technical difficulties as well as some other difficulties, but please excuse us for that. And we're going to be coming here next week with another of our guests, and I thank you and thank Beverly. We're going to be turning now to the end, and I will end this program. And thank you again, and we will see you next Friday with another business, and we will talk about it. And thank you, and bye bye, and see you next week.